it says, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? He, Jesus, said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. Love God above all else. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the three, just to recap the episode
Okay.
now
Okay.
to recap it. These are the three things that we need to consider when we find ourselves holding really tightly to our individualistic ideas.
Okay.
The number one thing is, in one way or another, all religions or spiritual ideas share the same premise.
Mm-hmm.
So can you just expound on that really quick,
Yeah,
just
I
briefly?
mean, I wrote down here to respect our neighbors at this stage in our brief existence. Any idea that says otherwise needs to be strongly challenged. We need to be able to respect each other as in human beings. We need to be able to respect nature, which we've gotten away so far from that because we think technology is going to save us from everything. But I always have this conversation with Fred, our friend Fred Cole, which we are we have an interview and we're going to be posting the interview in a couple of weeks. And I always tell him this, we go back and forth and we always agree on the same thing. At the end of the day, nature will always win.
Always.
I don't care. We could get really advanced and we could do all that, but nature, life always finds a way to remind us that we are a part of it.
Sometimes it's a brutal reminder.
Most of the time.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal.
And if we don't balance that, if we don't understand that balance, it will be, nature has a very, very destructive way to remind us of our place in the universe.
And it's interesting because, and this is a whole nother subject, a whole nother topic episode, is that people will often blame God for that destruction.
No.
And I'm just saying,
Yeah,
another
they do.
episode. Okay, number 2.
And then, and they also condemn nature like this is a natural catastrophe. It's not a catastrophe. It's a natural happening.
It's nature.
It's nature. This is what nature does. It's
Right.
like just because it throws a wrench on our ideas and stuff, maybe we need to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just on a side note, I always think about the Seminole Indians here in Florida. They still around.
Yeah.
What happened with all those hurricanes that happened? Because they knew how to balance and how to live in accordance with nature.
Yeah.
And they still do.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
It's awesome.
We could learn from that.
We could if we
If
took
we're
the
open
time
to
to. Yes, of course.
There you go.
All right, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
A question to ask ourselves is, as an individual, are you willing to sacrifice your mental conceptions, small group or personal gain like Rodriguez does to love your neighbor? That's pretty, yeah. Are you willing to sacrifice that?
Yeah.
And that goes back to what you were talking about confronting the shadow, your ego, and sort of checking yourself in terms of your interaction with humans, and then of course with the planet, Earth, nature, animals, etc.
I see the pushback here with some Darwinian smartass saying, well, that's not so Bible what the fittest if we care about that stuff. And this is not what you have to understand Darwin, and that's not really what he said. Nature works. There's a lot of cooperation in nature that we fail to see. And someone will say, I don't have to look out after my neighbor. I have to look out for myself. Survival of the fittest. Only the strong survives. And that is the wrong way to look at creation and to look at the way that we interact with each other, right? Because society and the advancement in human nature, it comes mostly from cooperation, right? More than anything else. So this is a foundational of what our new mythology is going to be in the future. The idea of combined cooperation in the midst of our cultural and individual personalities or traits or cultures. This is going to be the interesting part, whether or not we could actually do it. Yeah. If we could actually cooperate even within our differences.
It's a good question.
It is a good question. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, number 3, no system, belief, or idea can ever supersede life and the value of life.
Yep. Again, nature always wins. Ideas, they evolve, they change, they either stay stuck and they die out and they move forward. But life always keeps moving.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think you can get left behind in some cases if you really stick to your ideas and are not flexible and open to opportunities. These are opportunities that we have to open up, to strengthen ourselves, to become better people, to be more I'm trying to find the word.
It's to see a different perspective.
To respect a different perspective.
And to see that
and to be okay with, okay, we don't agree. I mean, you and I do this all the time. Okay, we don't agree, but that's okay. We don't have to agree on everything.
No.
Like I like certain things that you don't like, and so on and so. And there is this fundamental, basic respect that comes from that. Just that simple thing, right? It's what has kept us together for so long. We've been together for a long time. So I feel like when you allow yourself to sort of just let go and be open to the possibilities of the things the beautiful things that could actually happen as a result of you being able to take somebody else's perspective and show respect for it and say, not my cup of tea, but I get it. I respect you.
Of course.
Okay. It's this thing that we talk about with like, and I don't want to get into this, but pronouns and stuff. Like we feel a certain way about that, but we respect, that's how you feel. No problem.
Yeah.
I respect homosexuality. I respect
whatever you guys want.
Abortion, people who choose to get aborted, and what all the mainstream things that are going on right now. I have no problem. Just don't impose that belief on me.
But it's all ideologies, and then my ideology should be your ideology.
Exactly.
That's and again, it's like there's that's that part in which we still are trying to figure out how to truly communicate. And the question will be, to just wrap it up, just like that movie.
Wrap it up, B.
Right? It's like to wrap that movie. We are going to be humble enough and broken down enough to put down that ideology, step on it for the sake of the collective and saving other people. We're going to be able to, I'm willing to do that.
It's a great question. Great question.
I don't know.